Okay, it looks like it's been 3 months since I did my last video, and the main reason for that is because I've been very busy with lots and lots of comics projects. And the reason why I started doing these projects is because I was inspired to do so after some person emailed me to order some of my LPD comics. And I guess the best part was about it was getting paid, or also more to the point, the guy paid me in advance, so that helped too. Uh, but the details behind this story go like this. As I said before, somebody emailed me to order some of my LPD comics, more precisely all of them, if possible. But it wasn't possible. It was not possible because I couldn't find all the comics. But I found as many as I could, and that uh, amounted to $15. But the thing is that very few of these comics were actually already scanned and digitized and such. So I had to um, get the various LPD comics, print versions of the LPD comics out and photograph them since um, my printer's power cord wasn't working, or more precisely, I couldn't find a power cord that worked until just a few weeks later or whenever that was. And so I got my digital camera, took the photos of the pages of the comics, and on a computer, cleaned them up, slapped them together, put them in PDF form, and then sent them to the guy over, I guess, over the course of a couple of weeks. Yeah, that sounds about right. So yeah, that worked out. I got an order for some LPD comics, got paid, and sent them to the client. And because of all that, I got inspired to get back to work on my comics, as I said before, or at least I think I said before. And the first of these comics I want to bring up is The Science Dimension. The Science Dimension is what you might call my flagship comic series. It actually started back in July of 1990. Yeah, I'm going to say July of 1990, where I started this comic in the student newspaper of Wayne State University. And at the time, the Science Dimension was about a science-dominated world that took place 20 years in the future. Of course, it's beyond 20 years in the future now, so the Science Dimension more or less takes place in the present, but in a science-dominated society, unlike the stupidity-oriented society we currently live in, which I hate very, very, very much. And since I am going to redo the Science Dimension, I'm going to have various updates here and there, and they'll be colorized and all the other good stuff. Okay, the next comic that I'm working on is something called She's a Giantess. It's a Giantess comic, and as you may or may not know, my LPD comic series often deals with giant women. Yeah. Okay, I don't want to go into too many details about this particular comic because I don't plan to publish it until next year or probably the year after, because I want to get all these other comics out of the way first. And um, basically, it's about some girl who becomes a giantess. That's all I'm going to say. But I will say that, well, one thing I will say about this series is that um, the thing about, well, damn, I'm stuck. It always happens to me. Anyway, oh, I know what I was going to say. The thing about this comic is that even though I might not publish it for a couple of years, I'm already doing work on it, which means that when it is published, I'll probably have numerous episodes already done in advance, years in advance, like Sonic. I've been attempting to do that sort of thing with other comics, but that failed. This might be the first comic I actually get done ahead of schedule. Okay, and the next comic that I'm working on that I want to bring up is what I call the Further Adventures of WSU, or simply WSU. It's about this college student in the 1980s named Gwendolyn Sally Upshaw, whose initials, as you might suspect, are the same as the university she attends, and that's Wayne State University. I came up with the idea for that soon after I enrolled in Wayne State University back in 1984. And yep, I wanted it to be in the student newspaper at the time, but then, I don't know what happened. I guess I got distracted and decided to save WSU for another time, for publication another time. But anyway, why does WSU take place in the 80s? Well, because I was in college in the 80s. What else? And that's when I came up with the idea. And the WSU is going to have I think it's going to be a surprise ending. So the whole 80s thing may not be the end of it, let's say. And then there's another comic I want to do, which also has its roots at Wayne State University. It's called The Space End. And The Space End deals with the students who work at the official student newspaper of Wayne Space University, the Wayne State University of the future. And that comic was also published in the Wayne State student paper, but it was published before the Science Dimension. So the thing is that I thought that I wanted to do The Space End indefinitely, or whenever I left college or whatever, but then I figured for whatever reason I decided that this comic was too complicated to do, since it took so far and it took place so far in the future, and it's all and various ideas to implement were kind of a drag for me. Well, I don't want to say drag. I'll say it was a bit of a difficulty for me, let's say. Then that's when I went to the Science Dimension. But aside from that, as I said before, The Space End takes place in a future Wayne State University known as Wayne Space University, where you have these various college students at the university working on the student newspaper known as The Space End. I guess that's all I can say about that. Let's see, and I think one of the most prominent recent projects that I've worked on was a political cartoon for a blogger named Badinko. Badinko? Yeah, I'm just going to say Badinko. If I was named right, I apologize. Anyway, I contacted this person on Twitter, who then contacted me because I was looking for people who did cartoonist art and such, and that's how it happened, how we got together and stuff. And basically, it was a brief cartoon about the Netanyahu speech at the Capitol building some few weeks ago, and this particular job paid $120, and that, needless to say, was considerable progress for me, because my credit card bill was coming up soon, and I needed a minimum of $25 to pay that off, and with $120, I had more than enough money to pay it off. Yeah, that's progress. Yeah, progress. And let's see, I want to talk about the political angle about this, which of course is all political. This was a political cartoon. Let's see, I don't know. I'm going to say no at this time anyway. And here's a projects I'm working on, which might arguably be considered my most important project, and that is the Resource-Based Economy Now comic. Yep, I might have mentioned this before, or if not mentioned it, at least I have at least a couple of videos, one or more videos about this particular comic, or any other particular comic anyway. The idea behind Resource-Based Economy Now is that it takes place in what you might call an alternate world, somewhat like the world we know of, but more scientifically advanced, something like the Science Dimension. But in this comic, development of a resource-based economy is actually happening, and here the three main characters often enter a simulated resource-based economy computer program to prepare for RBE, for when RBE comes, and learn about it and figure out how to make it, how to improve it if necessary, and so forth. And that's the basic idea behind that. But the problem with this comic, there's only one problem I have with this comic, and that is, for the past couple of years, I believe it was the past couple of years, I've been trying to put together a 3D, like Bryce 3D image of a resource-based economy city. That's something I'm sure I made a video about recently, not recently, but a couple of years ago at least. And the thing is that that particular project is painfully painful. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say it's killing my computer's memory. At the time I started this project, I believe my computer had I don't know, 1 gigabyte of RAM, maybe 2, something like that. Now I have a newer computer, and I believe its RAM is greater than what the previous computer had, and even that's too much for it. What the frack? I mean, it's supposed to be the 21st century. I mean, two gigs of RAM's not enough. I mean, what? What? To say 2 gigs? Yeah, 2 gigs. I'm assuming it was 2 gigs. Whatever. I'll look it up later. Anyway, whatever amount of RAM my current computer has, it's probably more than all the computers I've had previously combined, and yet I can't get these RB City 3D images done, which is why I'm going to try to readjust the image so that it doesn't have so many elements in it, and therefore won't kill my computer and shit. And then there's the easy part about this, the whole RBE comic strip motif, and that is Jacques to the future. Yeah, Jacques to the future. It's a spoof of the Back to the Future poster with Jacques Fresco rushing out the DeLorean and a RBE City in the background. At first, I thought somebody might have came up with that idea, so I Googled it, and it looks like nobody else has come up with the idea. Oh, that's so convenient, or inconvenient, because if somebody else had done Jacques to the Future cartoon, that would be less work for me. But I had to do it, and I didn't have to do it. I decided to do it, and it's done. We have Jacques to the Future now. Yep, we have Jacques to the Future now. I think I'm gonna stop right here, and as I'm always saying, I'll bring up other related issues in future videos. And since that's the case, there will be no more "See you later, Ralph Nader." I've decided not to say that anymore, because Ralph Nader is irrationally anti-nuclear. I repeat, Ralph Nader is irrationally anti-nuclear. And since that's the case, after a while, Gomer Pyle.